Think and Grow Rich sounds like a money book, but it's really a how to run your mind book. Hill's whole argument is, the way you think about your goals, your fears, and your actions is the route to whether you end up rich. In money, but also in success generally. Let's walk through the core ideas. First, Hill starts with this big claim. Everything starts as a thought. Nothing exists in your life that didn't begin in someone's imagination first. A business, a career, a product, whatever. So if you want a different result, you have to start by changing the dominant thoughts you live with day to day. He packages this into what he calls 13 steps or principles. Different language, same idea. Train your mind and your results follow. The first step is desire. Hill is allergic to vague wishes like, I want to be rich someday. He wants you to be almost uncomfortably specific. How much money? By when? What are you willing to do or give in exchange? And what's your plan to start moving toward it now? Not when everything lines up. He literally suggests writing a short, specific statement of your goal, the amount, the deadline, what you'll do for it. The point isn't magic words. It's burning the goal into your brain so it stops being a daydream and becomes something you feel responsible for. Then he adds faith on top of that desire. By faith, he doesn't just mean religious belief. He means a deep internal conviction that what you're going after is possible and real for you. His argument is that your subconscious mind tends to organize your actions around whatever you believe most strongly. Either I can or I can't. So he has you repeat that written goal statement with emotion, picture it as already real, and basically brainwash yourself into expecting it. The idea is, if you genuinely believe you're capable and it's coming, you'll notice more opportunities, push harder, and recover faster from setbacks. That leads into autosuggestion, which is just a fancy phrase for self-talk. Most of us let our inner voice run on autopilot. I'm bad with money. People like me don't get rich. What's the point? Hill wants you to flip that and start feeding your mind the thoughts you want to dominate. So in practice, that's reading your goal out loud, surrounding yourself with reminders and symbols of where you're going, and catching yourself when you say I can't and deliberately changing the script. He's basically saying, if you don't program your own mind, the world will do it for you. Next up is specialized knowledge. Here he makes a simple but important point. General knowledge, even being highly educated, doesn't automatically translate into wealth. What matters is the specific knowledge that lets you solve valuable problems or spot good opportunities. That might be skills in sales, marketing, investing, building systems, understanding people, and it doesn't have to all live in your head. You can also borrow it by partnering with or hiring people who have what you lack. Either way, you keep learning on purpose instead of assuming school covered it. Then he talks about imagination, what he calls the workshop of the mind. Desire is what you want, imagination is how it could exist in the real world. Hill splits it into a synthetic imagination, remixing existing ideas in new ways, and a creative imagination, those sudden flashes or hunches that feel like they come from nowhere. He wants you to use both. You're constantly asking, given my goal, how could I turn this into a product, a service, a business, a deal, a career move? It's not daydreaming for its own sake. It's directed creativity. Once you've imagined something, you need organized planning. This is where a lot of people stall. They have ideas but no structure. Hill's take is, make a plan, even an imperfect one, and get moving. Then improve it as you go. He suggests breaking your goal into steps, forming a small group of people around you, mentors, partners, peers, who bring skills and feedback. He calls this a mastermind. Meeting regularly to adjust the plan based on what's actually happening. The big rule? Treat failures and dead ends as feedback, not as verdicts. You don't scrap the goal, you update the plan. Now he gets very firm about decision. He says successful people are decisive. They make up their minds relatively quickly and don't let every passing opinion sway them. Unsuccessful people postpone decisions, second-guess themselves, and change direction constantly. So he pushes you to decide what you want, say yes or no clearly, and care less about pleasing everyone and more about staying aligned with your purpose. In this world, indecision and procrastination are dream killers. Tied to that is persistence. Hill's pretty blunt here. Most people quit too early. Progress is slower than expected. Problems show up, other people doubt you, and that's where they tap out. The people we call lucky are often the ones who just stayed in the game longer. He suggests making your goal emotionally important enough that giving up feels worse than pushing on. Building daily habits that keep you moving, even in tiny ways. and leaning on that mastermind group when your own motivation dips. For him, a weak level of persistence usually means the desire was never that strong in the first place. Speaking of the mastermind, that's another key piece. The idea is simple. When you get a few focused, committed minds working together, the combined effect is bigger than the sum of the parts. You get ideas, accountability, and connections you would never have had alone. In plain terms, don't do everything solo. Find or build a circle of people who are also serious about growth, and plug into that energy instead of trying to push your entire dream up a hill by yourself. Then the last chunk of the book is about the deeper layers: energy, the subconscious, and intuition. Hill has a whole section on sex transmutation, which sounds wild, but he just means there's a ton of raw drive and creative energy in sexual desire. Instead of letting it get wasted or misdirected, you can consciously channel that intensity into your work, your art, your business. He also keeps coming back to the subconscious mind as the bridge between your thoughts and your habits. Whatever you repeatedly tell it, with emotion, becomes normal, and then your actions gradually shift to match that normal. And finally, there's what he calls the sixth sense, basically intuition. His claim is that if you practice all the other principles long enough, you start to develop a feel for timing, people, and opportunities. Ideas will occur to you more often and more clearly, because your mind is tuned to your goal instead of scattered. Hill's not saying sit on your sofa and think about money until it appears. He's saying get brutally clear about what you want. Train your mind to believe it's possible and to focus on it daily. Learn the specific stuff that matters. Turn ideas into plans, make decisions, and stick with them longer than feels comfortable. Surround yourself with people and inputs that reinforce where you're going. In his world, Think and Grow Rich really means think differently long enough that you can't help but act differently. And those actions over time are what grow the riches.